Hi everyone, it's Lisa here, and I'm back with the fourth video. Yes, counted four, for the beginning into art journaling or getting into art journaling. This was a video request by a viewer, a friend of mine, Bettina, and she asked me to do this video just so because she wants to get into art journaling, but she's not really sure what to start, what she needs for products. And I thought it was a very, very good question. And I'm sure there's other videos out there that show this. I just thought that I would put my own spin on it. And I just wanted to break it completely down. I feel like sometimes when you're watching a video, you don't get all the information or more detailed information. So if you haven't checked out those other videos, the first video we talked about the substrate or the item that we are going to art journal on, so whether it's a book or watercolor paper. The second one we talked about mediums, which I have a little bit of a note I want to talk about in a second. The third video we talked about tools, which I also have a note that I wanted to talk about. And also, I want to say a huge thank you to all the new subscribers that I have recently got over the past couple days. I really appreciate it. So, moving on into the subject of those little notes that I wanted to talk about. In the second one, we talked about mediums. Now, I did not mention other brands, which I just totally didn't even think about it. So when it comes to the fluid matte medium, if you're looking for a replacement, you could use either Collage Podge, or you could use Mod Podge or Collage Podge. Those seem to be really fluid mediums. I have used Mod Podge before, so it's not that you can't use it. So I would say give that a try. As for the regular gel medium, you can find it in a ton of different brands. So Ranger has their gel medium, and I know Finnabar has her gel medium, and I think Dina Wakley has a gel medium. So you might want to check those ones out if you can't find the golden brand, or if you want to try just maybe a cheaper or a smaller option. So that's something to consider. Then as for the light modeling paste, if you cannot find it as light modeling paste, you might want to look for embossing paste. I know Dreamweaver and I know Ranger do make light modeling paste now, so you might want to check those out. And as for tools, I totally forgot to mention a tool. So I forgot to mention my little spray bottle. This is awesome for either cleanup or spraying on top of paint to create drips. So you might want to think about this. This one's just a cheap one from the dollar store. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. I know even Ranger has the small ones, which I used for a while, but I got tired of filling them up, so I just went to the big one. So that is my little notes that I forgot to mention the last go around. So for today, we are going to talk about color, and we are going to more or less just talk about the acrylic version of paint. I think we'll probably run out of time, so I'm just going to work on the acrylic paint. If I have time, we'll talk about water-based or watercolor paints. So for now, I'm going to just give you a few options for starting off. Again, I've said this whole series, do not invest a lot of money if you're not 100% sure where or if you want to continue art journaling. So that's the whole premise of this video, is to show you guys certain products that you can use that are less expensive. So I don't have any of this brand of paint, or a couple of the brands of paint that I'm going to talk about, but I have two to show you. This is the Plaid brand of paint, and this is what I started off using. It's just this. You can see the plaid on the bottom there. This is just a white and a black. They are very, very inexpensive. You can find them either from the dollar store to Michael's to anywhere. They might not necessarily be this brand. You might find them under Americana. You might find them under, I don't know, any kind of brand paint. Martha Stewart has her own paint, and you can definitely use those to start off with. So again, don't invest a lot of money into paint. If this is what you can find to start off with, it works perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So that's a little note that you could use those brands. Now, there is other paint out there that is probably a good option to start off with, and there is a wide range of colors. Just moving some stuff around so I don't spill anything. There's a lot of different kinds of paints that you can start off with that should be readily available. These are Tim Holtz Distress Paints. Let me find one here. They come in a wide range of colors. I believe there's like 40, 44, 45 maybe colors because he keeps adding to the palette all the time. And they come in a wider range. This one is Picked Raspberry. This one is Mustard Seed. I'm just going to show you a few that I have. Salty Ocean. So you can see, like, even just based on these colors alone, the palette can be quite bright, or you can get even to kind of more like the darker earth tones like the Pine Needles. This one is, you know, Barn Door. So there's a little bit more of a more vintage look. This one's Wild Honey. He does have them in also a white, which is Picket Fence, as well as some metallic colors. So there's the Tarnished Brass. This one is the Antique Brass. And then he has a silver one, I do believe is this one. And this one's the Brushed Pewter. With these paints, they are reactive with water. So if you want to kind of create a marbleized look, you could just put them down. I'm going to show you. They have a little sponge top on them. I'm just going to grab something and I'm going to cover my computer just in case something spills on top of it. I'd be really sad. So they have this little dauber on top. If you don't want to use the dauber, you could take the top off. It's kind of nice for applying color. So you literally just pounce. I'm trying to do this. I wish I had a little thing that I could do right to my webcam, but I don't. So you can just see you you pounce the color onto the tag. I'm just gonna blend it out for you to see. So that's what that color is. That's the Pine Needles. Now it is reactive with water. Now what does that mean? So if I spray a little bit of water on here, I hope you can see. I'm just going to drip it. You can see that it kind of creates this marble look. The best way to show you is if I put another color on here. I'm going to take this Salty Ocean and you can see I'm going to spray. It kind of blends. This is probably the best way to do it. You can see it blends into each other. So they are very, very reactive. I started out using these as well. This was kind of like the secondary paint that I went to. So they are a little bit of a thinner paint. They dry relatively quickly, but they're available in a ton of different colors. I think you can find them for very inexpensive. So that is one of the paints that you might find either at your art store or at your, not your art store, but like Michael's or Joann's or something like that. Another paint that is gaining in popularity is this Dilutions paint, which is inexpensive as well. For the amount that you pay for this paint, you get it in this nice little tub. It's roughly, I think, around $7-ish for the tub of paint, and you get a lot in here. So this is the, let me see what color. This is the Vibrant Turquoise, and I'm just going to hold the lid up. You can see it's creamy, kind of holds your peaks a little bit, but it is really fluid, and the color is very, very intense. So as I put it on this tag here, you can see it's a very, very intense color, and it's a really good coverage. And the trick with these, or not the trick, I guess the special feature of these paints is that they dry really fast. So those are the Dylusions paints. They're very, very vibrant. I really like them. I just got them and played with them. I think as a beginner, if you want to maybe invest in some of these, that's a good way to invest just a small amount into them. There's lots that you could do with these paints. The other thing I would recommend that you do with paints is pick your white and your black as a base color. So this is the white and the black Dylusions paint. To use those as a kind of like a starting off, you can use white and black to tint your colors of your paint. So if you wanted a lighter tone of this is the vibrant turquoise. So if you wanted a lighter tone of this, you could add white to it, or if you wanted a darker tone, you could add black to it, and you're going to get a darker tone of paint. So I would recommend a black and a white for sure. And then I would say pick maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 colors, however comfortable you feel about the amount of money that you're spending. And just pick colors that you like or that you think would go well together. Colors like a pink and blue, if you like pink and blue, those go really well together. We're going to talk about warm and cool colors maybe in another video. This is a lime green. These go well together. Like even if you just hold them up, if you look at those 3 colors together, they look fantastic together. This is the fresh lime. But even in the distress paint, even if I went to, say, for example, let's see, if I went with, say, if I showed you these colors together, you would think they would look fantastic. This is the mustard seed, broken china, and mulled lawn. And those look really nice together. So I would say just pick 3 to 4 colors that you feel you could kind of stretch out. And even that you could maybe mix together, like your yellow and your blue, you can mix again together to make green. Your red and your blue, you're going to mix together to make purple. You know, just kind of like that whole premise of mixing colors when you were little. So, if you have already decided, you know what, Lisa, I already know I love art journaling. I want to make the investment into the paint. So I'm just going to talk very, very briefly about golden paint because this is where I have invested my money, is into the golden paint, and I totally blame Donna Downing for this because I really, really, really like the golden brand paint. So the golden paint kind of has a really nice attribute to it that some of the colors are translucent. So if I pull out, oh, and I should also mention they have different bodies of paint, and you can even find that with the cheaper grade paint versus the Dylusions paint. You'll even notice that they have different bodies to them, is what they call it. So you'll go right from a fluid acrylic or a high flow acrylic paint right to a heavy body paint. What that means is just how thin or thick the paint is. So is there any right way or any wrong way to use those paints? Absolutely not. There's 1,001 ways, or it's really a preference as to how thick you like your paint. I know the Dylusions, the Dina Wakley paint is a heavy body paint, and there's lots of people who love it. I know I like a thinner paint. I feel like I can move it more, if that makes sense. So this is the high flow fluid acrylic paint, which is quite a mouthful. This is the phthalo blue in the green shade. You can see if I pour it out, it's really runny and it drips. So that's kind of why I like these. These paints are not cheap, whether it's the high flow acrylic, the fluid acrylic, the heavy body paint, which let me find here. This is the heavy body paint. Let me see. That's the heavy body paint. This is the fluid acrylic. You see it says fluid acrylic right on it. I like using them, and the reason why is I just find their color or their intensity is so awesome and amazing, and it's very true to the color that's on the bottle. If I show you this little line here, you can see how it's got those little black lines through it. It does that so you can see how translucent that paint is over top of white and black. So that's that one. Also, if you're unsure, on the back side of the paint, it will show you how translucent or opaque, matte to gloss, thin to thick, and how much tinting you can do to it. So this one's got a really low tint to it. You can see that. So those are some properties that I like on these paints. Now, again, these are not cheap paints. But I know when I started taking classes and stuff like that, that I knew this was where I wanted to invest my money into. So that's a little tidbit about it. Another thing that you can try if you want to maybe bridge the gap between, say, something like this kind of paint to a little bit more of, I wouldn't say like a professional paint, but a heavier body paint. You can get these Liquitex basics for relatively cheap from Michaels, probably Hobby Lobby. I haven't seen them there because, again, I don't have a Hobby Lobby in Canada, but they are really readily available, and the color on them is really nice. It's quite a bit thicker than the fluid acrylic, and it's a lot creamier. If I show you that, and it's quite a bit creamier, you can see. So it just depends on the kind of paint consistency you like to work in. That's the best way I can describe it. And again, it's all about preference. So with that being said, there's 1,001 different paint companies that you can try out. I, again, would suggest you go to a cheaper or less expensive paint and see if that's what you want to, or if you like the art journaling first, and then you can always step up and incorporate that cheaper paint in with, say, like if you jumped up to like the Dilutions paint and incorporate it in, it is still going to look amazing. So that's my little talk on paint today. Again, this is all about acrylic paint. I feel like I have talked a lot for the last little while. If you have any questions about acrylic paint, please leave them below, and I will try and answer them for you. I'm not an expert on acrylic paint, but I will find the answers out for you if you have any questions. Tomorrow we are going to talk about watercolor paint, or different kind of watercolor mediums that we can use to create this watercolor effect. So thank you again for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. And if you found this channel and you would like to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.